I woke up to silence. The kind of silence that isn't empty but charged, thick with presence. My head throbbed, and my vision swam as I tried to orient myself. Blinking against the strange, violet light of the chamber, I realized immediately that I wasn't on Earth anymore. And I wasn't alone. On a raised dais, floating slightly above the floor, sat the most breathtaking figure I had ever seen. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, her eyes glowed with an inner fire that seemed almost alive, and a crown of crystalline spikes arched gracefully from her forehead. Her aura radiated power, authority, and something else, something that made my heart hammer violently. "I see you are awake," she said, her voice a melodic resonance that seemed to echo inside my skull. Finally, I struggled to speak. Where am I?" "You are aboard the Celestra, seat of the Dominion," she replied smoothly. "I am Queen Lyra, and you are mine." My jaw dropped.
Mine?
"I what?" She rose gracefully, stepping closer, the air shimmering around her like a living field. "Do not be afraid. I have chosen you. You are my mate, and the galaxy will bear witness." I stared at her, thinking that someone must have spiked my drink or I'd hit my head too hard. Yet, despite the sheer absurdity, there was no malice in her eyes. There was certainty, a force that demanded recognition. Before I could protest, the chamber doors opened with a hiss. Dozens of alien advisors and soldiers bowed low, their expressions unreadable. I was their king's mate, the human mate of the most feared alien queen in the galaxy, and so my life, the life of a normal Terran civilian, changed forever in a single heartbeat. Middle the trials of recognition. Queen Lyra wasted no time introducing me to her court. Each session was a dizzying combination of diplomacy, intimidation, and cultural rites I barely understood. Every alien in the Dominion, from towering warlords to delicate emissaries, treated me with a mixture of awe, fear, and incredulity. "You are human," one advisor hissed. "A fragile creature. How does she claim you as her equal?" Lyra's response was sharp. "Strength is not measured by biology alone. Observe him, and you will understand." Observe me? I barely knew what day it was, let alone how to impress a galactic court. I had no power, no training, no skills to match the galaxy's elite. Yet, somehow, Lyra's faith in me felt like a shield, a strange, intoxicating confidence that gave me courage. Days turned into weeks. I learned to navigate court politics, to walk beside Lyra without stumbling, to speak in the formal cadence expected in her presence. More than that, I learned to see the galaxy through her eyes. Every threat, every scheme, every subtle manipulation suddenly became clear. And then came the true test, the Rite of Acknowledgment, a Dominion tradition where all subjects bear witness to a queen's choice. This was no ceremonial formality. It was a display of allegiance, a test of influence and power. If the court rejected me, my life would be forfeit. The ceremony was held in the Grand Hall of Celestra, an immense structure suspended in orbit around Litherus Prime. Thousands of alien subjects gathered, their gazes sharp as they scrutinized me. Lyra stepped forward, her voice ringing through the hall. "I claim this human, Elias, as my mate. He is mine. He stands beside me as equal in will, in spirit, and in purpose." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Some scoffed, others gasped, and a few whispered in awe. Then the challenge began. I was to demonstrate not just courage, but judgment, diplomacy, and strength. One by one, alien envoys presented dilemmas, simulated attacks, ethical quandaries, and strategic decisions designed to break or embarrass me. I failed some. I faltered at others. Yet every time, Lyra's steady gaze reminded me to rise, to think, to act. And slowly, one by one, the court began to notice. This human, so fragile in appearance, had a mind sharp enough to navigate their most complex traditions, a courage that could stand against the fiercest warriors, and a heart capable of understanding even the most alien motives. By the end of the rite, the same murmurs that once mocked me turned to reverent whispers. I was no longer just the human they doubted. I was her human, the mate chosen by the Queen of the Dominion, a position of both awe and danger. Middle continued, a galaxy in shock. Word of the rite spread across star systems like wildfire. Messages poured into the Dominion from other empires and neutral planets. Everyone had seen it, the human who dared to stand beside an alien queen and survive. Some were furious. The Seraph Dominion, the most conservative of the galaxy's powers, sent emissaries to demand Lyra retract her choice. Humans are weak, their ambassador declared. You disgrace the throne. Lyra's response was immediate and fierce. Elias is my mate. He is strong where it counts. He has survived what you cannot comprehend. Your laws do not bind him or me. That declaration alone sent shockwaves. Humans, previously dismissed as fragile, were now a symbol of unpredictability, cunning, and raw potential. Across the galaxy, alliances shifted, rumors spread, and more than a few rulers reconsidered their stance toward Earth. And through it all, Lyra and I began to form a bond that was beyond politics. We trained together, strategized together, and shared moments of quiet conversation in the private chambers of Celestra. She was regal, commanding, terrifying, and yet somehow tender. And I, despite my initial disbelief, found myself growing into the role she had thrust upon me. It wasn't love at first sight. It was respect, trust, and the realization that the Queen's confidence in me was not misplaced. Climax, the threat beyond the stars. Just as I was adapting to my new life, the galaxy reminded us that power attracts danger. A rogue fleet from the Thalorians, longtime rivals of the Dominion, launched a surprise attack on Lithoris Prime. Their aim was clear: destabilize the Dominion by eliminating the Queen's mate, testing whether humanity truly belonged in the seat of power. The attack was devastating. Ships clashed in orbit, laser fire streaked the void, and the Grand Hall trembled from distant shockwaves. Lyra moved with authority, commanding her fleet, but she also turned to me. Elias, she said, her eyes blazing, this is your moment. Stand with me. I realized then that the role of mate was more than ceremony. It was partnership. I coordinated defenses, predicted Thalorian maneuvers, and made split-second decisions that saved key fleets from destruction. Humans lacked the technology of the Thalorians, but our adaptability and ingenuity leveled the playing field. In the end, we won. The Thalorians retreated, humiliated and shocked. And across the galaxy, the story spread. The human mate had not only survived but turned the tide of battle, standing shoulder to shoulder with an alien queen. Ending, a new era begins. After the battle, peace was restored, temporarily at least. But the dynamics of the galaxy had changed irrevocably. Humans were no longer dismissed, and Lyra's choice was seen as bold, revolutionary, and, in the eyes of many, wise. In private, Lyra finally spoke candidly. You exceeded every expectation, Elias. Not because you are a human, but because you refused to be defined by what they thought you were. I smiled, exhausted but proud. And you didn't choose the easy path either, did you? She laughed softly, the sound like crystal bells. No. The easy path is boring, and the galaxy deserves better than boring. From that day on, Our bond became the stuff of legend. The human who awakened beside the alien queen, who survived the Rite of Acknowledgment, and who proved his worth in battle. Our story was told across star systems as a testament to courage, ingenuity, and the strength of partnership. In the years that followed, I watched humanity gain allies, influence, and respect. And through it all, one truth remained. The galaxy had underestimated us once, and it would never do so again. Lyra looked at me one night, her silver eyes reflecting distant suns. "You are mine," she whispered. "Not because of who you are, but because of who you choose to be." And in that moment, I understood. Being her mate was not just a title. It was a promise to stand together, to face the stars, and to change the galaxy forever.